My name is Ricardo. I'm 48 or something years old. I'm part of Cultiva Ya. We are a collective or co-op here, and we try to facilitate prosumerism, which means producing what you want to consume instead just consuming it because the world offers you. Like, take choices, bold choices, decide what you want for your life. If it's not available in the market, create it. The thing we're doing here is, I guess, trying to contrast. I think art is a lot about contrast. Like, you look at this because of the contrast. What would it be if instead of fences we would just have gardens? Like, if instead of a policy of hatred and violence, we could just have an understanding of love and kindness? What if instead of that metal fence we would have some gardens for humans and non-humans, for people and nature? They take way more time painting it in that sad gray shade and then people just putting some other color there and some other meaning and some other symbolism. When the new border wall was being built, we were actually in Kumeyaay land. The Kumeyaay are the native people from this part of the universe. We were at the sweat lodge, and the guide just told this story, this prophecy about an eagle and a condor that represent the peoples from the south, what we now call America, which some indigenous people call Abya Yala, and what we call now North America, which would be Alaska, Canada, United States, part of Mexico. And so the prophecy says that when these two birds meet, halfway, I guess, peace will come back to the lands of these peoples. So if you think about it, we need peace. Like, we need something. And so after the sweat lodge, we came out, and Daniel, our friend, who is the one that started most of these projects, he came to the realization, like, oh, well, why don't we take that prophecy for the mural we've been thinking about? I think it's one of the biggest accomplishments we've had here. And it's very interesting because if you think about it, like, I'm not disregarding, but I'm not throwing away, but saying like, okay, so we've been here for 18 years and this lasted 1 month and it's just very important. But it's because art's so important. Like, before we were here, I think you noticed, like, the family that was walking along with us, they were like, oh, this is new, I hadn't seen it, they said. And they were talking about the eagle and what did it mean. And I guess art is the best conversation started for meaningful conversations. So that's why it's important to me. Like that, the bridge, the half of a bridge that's there, crossed by the border wall, it's just a few wooden 2x4s. Like, it's just 2x4s and some plywood, and that's it. But it starts so many conversations. You know, I've heard anything from people who invent stories like, oh yeah, this bridge was here, and then the border cut it, and it wasn't there, but people imagine colors, forms, new forms, which to me is art. To me, art is finding new forms, new ways of presenting reality. Helps imagination, helps conversation, helps dialogue. And so that's why it's very dear to me. And I think this whole project, which is the 18 years of the mural, of the garden, 10 years of the vegetable gardens, and now a few months with this backdrop, I think is a way to complete what we want to say here, which is we should just come together. Come on.
My name is Javier Salazar Rojas. I go by Deported Artist. These 13 faces, what they represent, they're all childhood arrivals. So there were people who were born in Mexico and taken to the United States when they were kids, mostly babies, and then deported as adults. One of these faces is myself. I was born here in Tijuana. I was taken to the United States as a baby, and I got deported as an adult. I was a permanent resident when I got deported. So that's what these faces represent. And really it's about, this mural is about humanizing deportations, right? Because when you hear about deportations, it's just a number. You don't see faces. You never hear what happens to the people after they're deported. It's something, being deported is something that you would keep quiet and you wouldn't tell nobody about, you know? And I was like, you know what? It got to the point where I was like, you know what? As long as we live like this, we live in the shadows, we don't speak up, we're never gonna have anything coming to us. You know, the government here don't help us, so it's up to us to help ourselves. I've been deported for 11 years, and 8 of those years I've dedicated myself to shedding light on los deportados out here in Mexico. I got this idea from a freeway sign, right? When my family used to bring me to Mexico when I was a little kid, they had this freeway sign that was kind of warning the people on the freeway to watch out for people crossing the freeway because we were so close to the border. So to me, when I used to see this sign, I remember like, oh, we're close, we're almost there. And that's why I kind of like adopted it. Not as my logo, but as something that I always paint around my paintings. And of course, we didn't do this right here, but this right here is part of the, there's an organization that, right here from Mexico, they're called Las Mamás Buscadoras. They're moms that have lost somebody, somebody who has disappeared. And they come and they put their faces right here in hopes that somebody will recognize them and one day they'll find their loved ones. But all these represent the missing, the disappeared.
Great power can be used any way, right? In any kind of way and for any purpose. And design is also part of art, right? And so this wall was designed, I would say, in the realm of necropolitics. I mean, it's a tool of death. So it was designed to be 30 feet tall, because like when they do the news, they always say, oh, it's so difficult to climb. Yeah, it obviously is, but that's not why they designed it like that. The height is scientifically designed because at that height you will inevitably go dizzy or disoriented, and if you do, you are very likely to fall. And if you fall from that height, it's 90% probabilities you die or get a death injury. So it's a tool for death. Okay? So you wouldn't paint it pink if it's a tool for death, right? That's this gray, right? That speaks really about, I don't know, the pity of some human being that thinks that is a good thing to me. Does anyone have a room that's painted with that color? I don't think anybody does. You want posters, you want mirrors, you want color, you want your wardrobe, whatever. Anyway, so as you can see, this side of the universe, it's full with music, color. When you come back on the weekend, it will be way more colorful, and there will be much more sound, even noise. So I think it just reflects what's on this side. And by that, I don't mean that Americans or the US side should be that gray. I don't. Because you have to understand the context. Nobody is being allowed between those two wall fences. So actually, to me, that the gray on that side which they want to paint black, by the way. It's just the reflection of the emptiness. There's some emptiness. There's something that's not being filled. Maybe with love, maybe with hatred, maybe with action, maybe with inaction, maybe, but you can always do something beautiful. And so I think that people are trying to do something beautiful. And beautiful doesn't mean pretty, right? So beautiful can be those missing person things, like it's the beauty of searching for someone that's been missing, that was taken away. And even being so proud of this mural, I want the wall to come down at some point. And that's why we have native flora here. The roots of these plants go 30 feet below ground. I mean, so in that sense, they are tall as the wall. These plants can live for several hundred years. The wall, I've been here for 18 years and they've changed it twice. The rust, they can't take the rust. This thing cannot take the long run. So in the long run, this will go down. Nations will dissolve and humans will be just one.
This one, the one that says no, ningún ser humano es ilegal, no human being is illegal. This is kind of like a painting that I painted from my memory, from my childhood experience. This represents me at 11 years old crossing the border for the first time after finding out that I didn't have enough papers and getting arrested by the Border Patrol. So that's why I painted this. You know, they call us illegals, and I always say no human being should be illegal, right? It's something I still have problems comprehending. I thought my story was kind of unique, right? My experiences, but you know what? I came to realize that my story is similar to thousands of stories, that we all share like this pieces of the same story, but we all come from different backgrounds. We all have different lived experiences, right? So it's important to, I think, to represent those stories right here on the border wall.